Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on the Jamie Foster Brown Show. And today we've got a special treat for you. She's all grown up now, but you know her from her role as Laura Lee Winslow on the ABC CBS television series Family Matters. Wow, which ran from what was it, 1989 to 1998? That's a good long run. Y'all did
It
a good
is.
job. That meant that y'all.
Oh, we did. And we had a ball doing it.
Okay, tell me everything. Everyone welcome Kellie Williams. There she is with a little pretty.
Hey, everybody.
Ain't getting no older. What are you doing? You got to tell me some of your tricks here, baby.
Listen, that husband and them kids done ran me into the ground. What you talking about?
How long you been married now?
11 years.
Ooh. Now this is important.
Okay.
Some of us can't last more than 2 or 3 years. What is the secret, honey? I want to know.
Marry a good man.
Well, how do we find a good man? There has to be prerequisites. What they have to be or what we have to be. What is it that you saw in him?
Well, I love my daddy so much. You know that.
I know
You've
that.
known that over the years. And I know good men. I know a lot of great men. And he represents to me what a great man does. Like he is so, I can't even, he just has the indescribable it. He's a man.
Okay, so all right. Let's just say, like my husband, I had a great man. So we could
do
some comparisons, okay, here, because I was married 46 years to this dude. Now, the interesting thing about it was that I didn't marry the man that I was sexually attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
But here, is that the part? Okay. That head had to be attracted to him in a way that you recognize, will he be a good father? How does he speak to me? When he's angry, is he like, now, Jamie, come and sit down? Instead of saying, hey, bitch, that sort of thing. No, you have to pay attention to things like that.
Sure.
Also, how they
and I tell people this all the time. Like, I don't think I'm my husband's type either. Like, we weren't each other's type necessarily.
Right.
But he was my type in terms of archetype. So my dad is a great provider. His vision got me to LA. He always made the tent big enough for everybody. Mm-hmm. And that's what my husband does. My husband he knows how to make it happen. You know what I mean? I can look over to him and say, how we going to get out of this mess? And know that he has an answer.
Wait a minute. So what was he doing when you met him?
He was an engineer for the government. He does IT.
Okay, he does that back then. Yeah, that was very important back then. Was he nice to you? Did he look you all up and down and said, you got a nice looking and all that stuff? No, but some girls think that that's what's supposed.
No. But I mean, people think it's crazy, but I've always been into nerds. My husband is kind of like, he's a handsome nerd, which I've always been into. I was never the girl who liked like knuckle draggers. I'm not that girl. That's not my experience with men. Okay. And so, when it came to my dating life, I was never interested in that. You start getting on my nerves too bad, you gone.
Well, what are knuckle draggers now? What is that?
People who don't really say what they mean, who string you along, who don't have really real intentions towards you. Do you know what I mean? Like, mm-hmm. I know people who've been in relationships with people for 20 years and they want to get married and they never seem to get, to get what they want. Mm-hmm. I wasn't looking to be married in the first place. Mm-hmm. So when it happened, it was great. But if it didn't happen, I would have been a spinster and I would have been fine. He was that good of a dude to me.
So, so a lot of women are not happy with who they are. Your father had to have played a very important part in building who you are. What do you remember? My father had a lot to do with how his daughters were raised and how the daughters should interact with boys. A lot of these girls grow up. So share a little bit of that.
Well, my father, I remember from a young age, my father, he was always concerned that women were not uh, coached in how to get what they want. So he was always coaching us in, I could tell my father, hey daddy, you know what? I know I never been like a scientist and none of that, but I think I want to go to the moon. And my father would say, you know what? I think I grew up with somebody who worked at NASA.
And
Let
go.
me make some phone calls. And guess what? I'll be going to the moon.
Right, right.
You know what I mean?
So he invested in you.
He invested in me early, so I know what it feels like to be showered. There's a difference between being tolerated and being adored. Do you know what I'm saying?
Tell me that, because so many of us are missing fathers today. So many. Okay, Kellie, with this, I try to impart what we should look for in a mate.
But you should be telling us. People talk about your sons all over the world, how fabulous, what great men they are. You should be telling us.
Well, I will. I will, but I'm interested in you right now.
Okay.
But okay, I can say this. My father taught, but first of all, my father cooked for us. My father helped clean the house. My
Right.
father brought all the he would tell us how to work in that work environment. How he would get us dressed. He would get us dressed in the morning to go to work. My hair, he'll say, James Satter. Now, that's my full name, James Satter. You're going to make some young man happy to see you today. Now, listen to this. So he said, okay. I said, I will, Daddy. He said, yes. He made sure my hair was all curled nicely. I had a white frilly blouse, all starched and ironed nicely. And then black skirt, black belt, black shoes, and black stockings. And he would say, now, when you walk through the office and the factory, he said, don't have your head up in the air, your nose up in the air. I said, why, Daddy? He said, because if it rains, you're going to drown. So he was telling me, be kind. Say hello. Don't be sedity. Don't be stuck up, things like that. So my father poured into us a lot.
Right. And in the same way, that's how my father was. He was my father is the master of strategy.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You could tell him, I say this really like people, like something that's completely ridiculous of a dream. You can bring to him and say, you know what, I really want to do this. And he'll strategize with you and get you there. Okay. And I watch my husband, and maybe because I was exposed to it as a young person, and that's maybe why I chose my husband. He does the same thing with my children.
Okay.
He's very attentive and very invested and very present. He's a good man.
Okay, so how do we talk? Okay, we're gonna get on your new show. Okay, we're gonna talk about your new show. Don't think I'm but there's so many other things. What? Tell me.
That this is what you're talking about is very important too, to me.
It's important to our community, Kellie, because these girls don't have fathers raising them any longer. This is a problem here. And on this show, and let me just say this to you, and I'll say it to you on this show, anything that you think of, even after this show, that you say, I need to tell Jamie's audience this, our people need to hear these words, this kind of behavior, our behavior speaks volumes. Our young girls don't know how to get to work on time. They don't know how to dress, and all these things that are not, the music industry is raising our children.
Sure.
And it's not on gospel.
But I would say this then. This is my overall thing is Jill Scott has this great song and it says, I need you. I could do everything that my husband does for our family, but he does it in a much deeper way. I think that our men need to know that their voice and their present, more than anything, sets everything right. I know it because I have married that, and I know that that's where I come from. So I know that that's the single most important thing in getting me from Maryland to Los Angeles. My father investing in me and seeing something that is possible, even with nothing. Like my father can take nothing and make
something out of it.
something that is so fantastic.
Mhm.
And I people get tired of me because I know it sounds real Pollyanna, but having a dope dude is like, and the way that you talk about your husband is the same thing, and your father. It's like it's a game changer.
So we should have a dope dude and not a dude that sells dope. That's what I'm,
Right. No,
no, that's
because
what you're really saying to me, you know.
right.
But how did they become? Okay, we got a lot of stuff to unpack here because
Okay.
first of all, I'm very happy to hear this. And I think that, I want to invite you to come and share knowledge with me. Any behavior that you see that you think would be important for us to learn, because there's no teaching in our homes now. So
Sure.
we have to teach, Kelly.
Sure.
All right. So,
Number one,
mhm.
find you a man who is very proficient at delayed gratification.
What? I think I know
Not
what that
for
means.
that reason, not for that reason, but for many reasons. Like,
Tell me.
just like my husband, I he's like a great businessman. He knows how to plan. He's a strategist also. And okay, I'll say it this way. My husband and I met some time ago, and he's a little cheap, right?
Mhm.
But then I looked up, and then we didn't have any mortgage, and we paid our new house off in cash.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, he's able to not take for himself. He just understands how to feed a family. I can't. I feel like I'm not being specific enough, but it.
Kelly, I'll help you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We have a guy, and he is let's say he's working at Target or Amazon. All right. So he gets, did you delay having children, or did you have children right away?
Well, my ex was kind of hard boiled, so I got on the good foot with that. We got married 2 years later, and then I had a baby 9 months after that.
Okay, 9 months after that. But during the 2 years, did you all plan? So you got to put money aside. There's
Sure.
a plan. You can't just go get the latest jewelry, the purse, the shoes, the belt. That's very important. People,
It is.
those are through things that you throw away or they become obsolete. But you've thrown away your money. You
Sure.
understand? So you're not. So we got to be frugal with things like that.
And that he's thinking not even of our children, but of our grandchildren. Like,
Oh,
that those things are a consideration, that you buy land, that you have this, that you set up a trust, that you know what I mean?
mhm.
It's
Well, I mean,
it's
you're teaching
on
it.
a generational level.
Okay. So they, first of all, the two people getting together, they have to be able to put some money aside for
It's it's not just money, it's delayed gratification in a lot of different things.
mhm.
It's understanding how you want your children to be educated. It is thinking of both of our mothers will live with us. How we're going to deal with that aspect of it. People who have the same values as you.
That now you've hit it with the having the same values as you. And I thought that was very interesting that you're saying that both, it's okay for both of your mothers to live with you. That's okay, right?
Oh, definitely. He did that. We built a house with that in mind.
Okay. So you built a house with that in mind. And then what about raising the children? How did he raise the children? What did he speak to them? What did he tell them how to act? Are they boys and girls? What are they?
I have one of each. I have a girl that's 10 and a boy that's 8.
Okay.
And
Okay.
he works a lot, but he's there at every game. He's there at every soccer tournament. He's there. He's very present. And I think a woman really shows, is the loving aspect of the relationship, but he shows the kids what the world looks like and how you should behave in it.
Let me ask you about this COVID world, though. What has he shown you with that, with us being restricted, and a lot of us have to stay at home. Maybe you don't have that problem with him,
Right.
or okay, you don't have that problem.
Oh, staying at home?
Yeah, staying at home, being restricted in the house with
Well,
COVID.
can I tell you, I'm not really marriage material. So he's been very patient with me, right? So I told him off the giddy up. Look, if you listen, I tell people like this. I told my husband, look, do you want sex or do you want me to help them with this homework? I'm not really that good of a multitasker. Do you want your house clean or do you want something else? You want dinner? You know? So he's been very patient with me.
So you're not like, I'll bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan.
Nah. I bring home the bacon. I'm going to sleep after that.
That's
I
right.
put the money up on the dresser. You do the rest.
But you all work it out.
We did, because I said to him, I don't know. Birth order makes a difference. And, from the beginning, my parents were like, go, hunt, kill, win. You know what I mean? I was raised to work. I said, if you're expecting some like Molly homemaker, I'm not that. So if you want that, that's fine. I'll stay to raise our children, in the beginning. And then we'll see from there. And he was like, well, whatever you feel like you want to do, I'll support.
Let me ask you something. So were you like acting and everything when you were a little girl? I mean, how did you get into show business? Tell me a little bit about that.
People never believe this, but I was so shy that I didn't speak above a whisper. Okay. And my parents were like, you may need to, let's put her in theater classes to kind of bring her personality out so that people don't think she's weird.
Oh, wait a minute. So you didn't want to go into theater classes. This is just like they saw something that was lacking in their child, and they made a decision to enhance, to amplify this.
Correct. Right. Because I was about to go to school. So they were like, you need these things. I'm actually writing a book with my best friends about it, like how we all came together and how I wound up getting into theater.
When they sent you to school as a child, were you just really, did you feel something like, oh my, this is me, this is who I am, right? How old were you then?
I started in the DC Black Rep when I was 4 years old.
That's what I'm saying. This is amazing. They were playing, these great parents. Oh, kudos to them. Kudos to them. Okay. Right. So this almost, you grew up in the theater. You grew up acting, right. And that was wonderful.
Yes.
That's special.
And it was a place that I could be free and not feel so. I was shy. I mean, you couldn't hear me above a whisper.
Let me ask you something. You were in the second longest running African American focused sitcom as a little girl. What was that like, that success? And then you didn't get a big head or anything, and you survived. I mean, you lasted. A lot of us don't last that long.
You know my parents.
We will whip you.
Exactly.
Oh, but you're not allowed to whip children today. I mean, people frown on that.
Well, you need to mind your business is what you need to do.
Okay. But how old are your children?
10 and 8.
10 and 8. So, okay. But do you give them whippings, or they don't deserve it?
My mother told me off the break. She said, your children shouldn't really need them. She said, your kids should have a healthy relationship with respect. That's right. And discipline by the time they're out of diapers. Yes. You're not really spanking a little baby. Mm-hmm. And so when you do the work when they're, really small, you don't really have an issue. And so I thought that was great advice. So you ain't got to do a whole bunch of, a look will stop them dead in their tracks.
I got whippings. Okay.
So did I.
Yeah, what are some of the fondest moments of the show, the television show, that I used to love that show? Oh my gosh.
So just good. Thelma Hopkins was like a mother to me. My mother used to let me go over her house, and she spent a tremendous amount of time with me. Like, she would let me come over her house maybe 2 weekends a month. Like, I was over there all the time. Mm-hmm. We spent, I think that some of the reason why the show was so successful is also because people could get the vibe. We really loved each other. I love them. I love those folks. Mm-hmm. We're really like family. Like, I still call them. Mm-hmm. Okay. All of them. I mean, and it's been 20 years now. So, but I still call them. We still wish each other happy birthday. We still crack on each other. Everything.
Well, so this new show that you're on, well, tell me about that.
Well, it's a movie that I produced. I was sent a
Okay.
script by a woman named Stacey Davis, and she
Stacey
wanted to
what?
do her
Stacey.
name is Stacey Davis.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And the name of the movie is called Christmas in Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So she wanted me to be in it. I wanted to produce it. So we began working with it, and we developed it for about a year, and
Mm-hmm.
then we shot it in South Carolina.
In South Carolina. So what's the movie about though? Tell me what
The movie is about, I'm actually playing the mom, but it's a love story about a young couple who are very different personalities who find a way to fall in love and make it work.
okay. And so who wrote the movie? How did you get
Stacey
involved?
Davis wrote the movie.
But how did you get involved? Why did she choose? Did she choose you specifically, or just like I want Kelly in this?
She did.
Mhm.
She loved the show Family Matters, and so she reached out to me via I think Twitter or like Facebook,
Mhm.
and I really liked the project, so we went down there and we got to shoot.
You gonna do more movies?
I think so because I really enjoy the creation aspect of it. I want to produce more.
Right. So this with the this is a holiday movie. You're on the set a long time. You get to know people. Was it who was the writer? Who did you fall in?
Stacey Davis again was the writer.
Uh-huh.
I got Darius, who played the brother on Family Matters, to come and be my brother in the movie.
Darius is in the back. Wait a minute. He is?
Yes,
Because
he's in it.
I've been getting music that he's singing. He's quite a nice singer,
Oh, right.
yeah. So he gets to get that's
That
wonderful.
maniac.
I think that this is wonderful though. And the movie, tell us about when the movie's coming out. Everything is holiday movie and
Right. The movie's out now on Roku and on Apple, or like all streaming platforms is out. So you can look for Christmas in Carolina is the name of the movie.
so if your children wanted to get into the acting business, what would be your feelings on that? What do you think?
Well, it's my job to support them in who they want to be. So if they want to, obviously I would encourage. But at this age, education is number one for me. So you could do it pretty much whatever you want as long as you give me that diploma. I need some diploma jewelry for my wall for all my trouble.
Oh yeah, you got Christmas in Carolina. So what is Christmas in Carolina like? What's that like?
It's like one of those holiday movies that make you feel good. You see somebody, they have like a little tiff in the beginning, and then they find their way back to
Mhm.
each other and work it out. You feel all the warm fuzzies and tears at the end.
And so it's like this is like a show, a movie that we can watch all year round, from what I can understand.
Yes,
You can,
about
Richard try
people
to go,
finding love. Right.
yeah, and try to go out and support it. I like the idea that we're making movies, that Black people making their own movies and they're starring in them and everything. Who are the people who did you enjoy in the movie?
It was because we use a lot of new actors too.
Okay.
Jocelyn Hall is in it, and DJ is in it. It's a lot of new faces, but now you're starting to see, like Jocelyn is now in some other holiday movies for Hallmark
Mhm.
and those things. So it's a lot of new faces, and obviously I pulled in all the old gang also.
That's good. If there's anything that you wanted to leave for us and tell us, that helps us through the holidays and through the pandemic, can you share that with us now?
Well,
I'm
just like you,
what?
all we have is each other.
That's
All we
right.
have is each other. You have, from the moment I've met you, you've always been so supportive to me and my career and my family. And thank you so much. And I want to be that for other people too. All we have is each other. So I thank you for the work that you do, with the magazine and with all the stuff that you're doing, but outside, the person that you are, because it matters.
Oh,
We all that we got.
oh, thank you so much. I wasn't really thinking about me. I'm thinking about,
No,
you know,
but you didn't have to. I'm being serious. Like it matters. People think that that just because you're on a TV show that's something. It doesn't mean anything if you don't have the support of your community, of your family. You know what I mean? And whenever I see you, you embrace me. You have always been so kind to me. I'll never forget that.
Oh, you're so wonderful. One last question.
Sure.
The people that tell me a little bit about the people that you worked with on this movie and why, what stood out? Because we know about you, but we don't know about the people behind the scenes, the people who write these movies and how it's directed. Right. So share some of that, who we should look forward to seeing their names and lights in the future.
Definitely Stacey Davis. She was able, people think that it's so hard to do these things. She wrote, she's a teacher by trade, but she wrote a movie and she actually got it done. Like, she found the resources, she got the people together. It's not that hard. We have, what I learned from the movie is that we have everything that we need to get where we need to go. Mm-hmm. It's you lack nothing. If you just really sit and think about the resources that you have available to you, we can do just about anything. So we need to start pooling our resources and work together and get some stuff done.
So she had to pool her resources. Were there other people that you met to help her make this movie?
Her Bishop Blue down at her church, he gave her the funding for the movie. Awesome. The church was very supportive of her. Her aunts, I mean, she just got it done.
This is wonderful. When that just shows that we can do just about anything. What church was that?
We can.
What church was that?
We can. I'm sorry?
What church was that?
It's called Door of Hope.
Uh-huh.
In South Carolina.
Okay. You can be as talented as you want to be.
Yes.
If you don't have a good director, that movie can look sloppy, not put together well. But who was the director on this movie?
And see, this is what I was going back to the, you have everything, you lack nothing. You have everything within your grasp that you need. My stepmother, my bonus mom, Peggy Williams, directed the movie. And she did a fabulous job.
Go ahead. Wait a second. Has Peggy directed movies before?
No, she went to film school and she has a degree, but she had never directed before. But she has shot a lot of stuff. So she did a great job.
We're just miracles. All of us are just miracles. Thank you, Peggy. And thanks for taking care of this baby girl all these years. We love you. Don't be.
I love you more.
Come back and see us again.
Will do.
Bye-bye.
Bye.